Alvin Williams on Raptors game number 2. Arash Madani on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and who the hell they're going to trade. Later on, Tim and Sid.
But first, 2 games in the Stanley Cup Playoffs tonight, 2 Game 3s in the second round. Dallas to St. Louis last night. St. Louis can't lose on the road. We never lose when Nick Kypreos of Hockey Night in Canada is joining us. Kipper, it's great to see you. We're going to dive into the hockey. There's not a bigger Jays fan, I believe, in Rogers, possibly, than yourself. Are you believing the 14-14, the Vladdy hype? Where does Kipper stand on this?
I like the Vladdy hype. You know, he hasn't exactly torn it up, but, you know, I remember watching, I think it was a 30 for 30 on Bo Jackson, and maybe it was George Brett that said, when Bo went up to the plate, you didn't move. You don't go grab something to eat. You don't go take a leak. You watch it. And that's where we are with Vladdy Jr. Every at-bat is must-see.
I'm with you. As we get to yesterday's action, should we just give up on the Cinderella for the St. Louis Blues? Yeah. Like, are they not the best hockey team in the National Hockey League since the turn of the calendar?
Buddy, I had them to win the Stanley Cup in September. I mean, I liked them. I liked them at the very beginning. I thought that their goaltending would have been better right from the very beginning. It didn't happen with Allen, but you certainly look at what Binnington's been able to do, and great goaltending resets your table. Now you've got some game breakers. Tarasenko's on board with his head coach maybe for the first time ever. Ryan O'Reilly has been a great 200-foot guy, and Pietrangelo, we know, has always been considered one of the top D. And I like them. And I'll continue to like them until they prove me otherwise wrong.
2 games tonight, Kipper, in the Stanley Cup playoff. Of the 4 teams on the ice tonight, Kipper, Tim posed me the question just a short time ago. Who needs to win the most of the 4, would you say?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd probably say it'd be in the best interest for Columbus, actually, to win tonight, just to maintain that energy at home. You know, you don't want to give up the first goal or possibly get off to a slow start. They've been lucky already on a couple occasions to not be at their best and still find a way to win. But I like Columbus to come out really hard on the Boston Bruins. And then you look at San Jose. I think it's important for Jones as well to continue to turn the page and provide some excellent goaltending. If he goes south, I'm just not sure whether or not San Jose can find a way to be hot and cold with their goaltending. So I would think that the Sharks need to find a way to get over you know, inconsistent goaltending and start locking that up.
We've heard of memos to the officiating crews in the last couple of weeks. Is there a memo to the officiating crew about diving after what we saw with Esa Lindell?
I was a pro for 12 years. I've been lucky enough to cover this game. I've never seen anything like this. And, you know, I talked to some of the older generation. John Shannon says, oh, it's never as bad as that Bill Barber in Philadelphia. And I say, no, John, this is worse because this is 3 Bill Barber moves in about 4 seconds. And, I mean, I get it. We do have some guys that embellish, but don't confuse embellishment with embarrassment. And for this guy now to look over to the official on a number of occasions and still have the gall to get a call late in the 3rd period on the Maroon goal is just it's ludicrous for him to think that he would get a call. And all he's done now is jeopardize getting calls in the future here. I would think that, you know, even if Lindell had a stick go through his stomach and come out his back, I'm not sure the refs would give him the benefit of the doubt.
So, Kipper, I know a lot of people around the league are upset at this guy. If you're a teammate, are you upset at him? Yes,
you are, because you've taken away our chance to win because now you're not playing. You've stopped playing, and now you're into the sales job. You're trying to sell something to the official late in the game, and I think there'd be a number of people upset at him for this.
Is this just his inability to respond physically? And if so, like what as the as the less physical team can you do?
Listen, Lindell's been a pretty good player for them, you know, and I don't think we've ever talked about him in this manner before. So, I mean, is it a one-off? Is it just a brain cramp? Is it just kind of buckling under the mental pressure? You like him, you're not going to take him out of the lineup, but you just want to talk to him and make sure that this never happens again. That's all.
All right. Fair enough. Because Bertuzzo was out, and listen, he can be a pain in the ass.
I like me some Robbie
Yeah,
Bertuzzo,
no, he's got a little Chris Pronger in him, and I mean that in a nasty, physical way. He's not afraid. Even on the first goal, he was loud. And I wonder if he had no other response because he knew we couldn't match him physically. He's like, I'm just going to go down and try and draw a call here.
Oh, gosh, I would think that he would know better than that. Yeah. There's a number of ways you literally turn the other cheek and just move on, but to sit there and now play referee, you know, that scenario with a referee, and then look at him and, you know, go flop back down and get up and flop back down. I'm like, am I watching Ricky Steamboat here, the Dragon, you know?
Off the top rope.
Off the top rope, it was goofy.
Yeah. Sid and I were talking about the two hottest topics in Canada being right now among Canadian teams, what the Leafs pay Mitch Marner and who the GM in Edmonton is going to be. I want to start with the Leafs, and we were talking about the fact that nobody has won a cup with a double-digit million cap hit, and we've seen guys struggle with two guys at that double digit, try and make the playoffs or advance in the playoffs. Can the Leafs pay three guys more than $10 million each and be good?
No, I think that we all think that the cap's going to go up, but not high enough where you could support three forwards well over $10 million. So they're going to have to start getting creative here. If that means a shorter-term deal, if his next deal has to look like it's walking him to unrestricted free agency, that might be the case. Maybe on a 3-year deal, you can get him at 9 or 9.5, and maybe feel like we could still win the cup in 2 or 3 years, and then one of them's going to walk away. You know, we know Matthews is at 5 years, but maybe that's a problem that you worry about in 3 or 4 years. But for now, Mitch Marner to lock into a deal at 6 or 7 years on term would have to start around Austin Matthews numbers. And let's face it, they're painted into a bit of a corner here. We all know that.
Sounds like there's a storm coming, Kipper.
Yeah, I'd say that there is one for sure. And, you know, if you feel the need to sign him at $11 or $11.5 million, then, you know, tomorrow you solve that problem short term by moving Nylander and Kadri. Kadri, you can get a deal done in 24 hours. I mean, it's an easy deal, and Nylander's shouldn't be that hard because of his actual money that is owed on the contract opposed to the cap hit. So it's a favorable contract, Nylander's, for trading him. We've discussed that many times. So those are the two candidates. And then you've lost Gardner's salary and Hainsey's. So there's room to give him $11 or $11.5 million, but it's going to weaken your lineup.
Kipper, we've run over time, but I said I would bring up the GM at Edmonton. Is either of Mark Hunter or Kelly McCrimmon the favorite to get that job?
Yeah, I would throw Ken Holland in there as well.
Really?
And
wow.
I really believe that Ken's in a position where if he shows interest and he wants another crack at running a hockey club, there might be a chance for Ken Holland to get reacquainted in a general manager's seat. But, you know, Detroit did right by him. He's making good money now as a president without the pressure. The question is, does he seek it out or not? We'll stay tuned for that one.
Kipper is spitting hot fire.
The next few weeks are going to be interesting. Yes. All right, Kipper. Enjoy your Jays as well. Thanks, brother.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There's Nick Kypreos from the CBC studios.